Good evening, and welcome to tonight's Intuitive Reactions, the MENA Gulf Regions, number 49. Today, this episode will focus briefly on the possible transfer under review of our UK embassy from 192 Hayarkon Street in the older northern sector of Tel Aviv, opposite the Hilton Hotel, to Jerusalem. And if I understand this unnecessary storm in a teacup correctly, Liz Truss, who became our Prime Minister just over a month ago, first floated the possible move of the embassy in a letter to the pro-Israel lobby group Conservative Friends of Israel during her leadership campaign last summer. She then confirmed that she was considering the plan in a meeting with Yair Lapid, Israel's caretaker prime minister, on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly meetings last month. But hey, guess what? She's not the first politician to consider, review even, such a move. After all, the ex-President Trump did it in 2018, as did also Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Although, mind you, the remaining 189 UN member states have not done so. And like many other countries, the United Kingdom, by the way, also maintains a consulate general in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of Arab East Jerusalem in an effort to help the Palestinian population, but also as an expression of the UK view that no state has sovereignty over Jerusalem. But let me ask this question. Was this bubble of an idea really necessary now? I understand that the PM describes herself as a huge Zionist, whatever that really means these days. And she also seems to like being disruptive politically, going against the tide, as it were, as an expression of her unorthodox and bold political demeanor. But really, is the UK simply putting the carriage before the horse? Is this suggestion a somewhat sophisticated way of repeating British historical responsibilities that go back to the early and mid-1900s? Is it really what a permanent member of the UN Security Council should do at this stage by infringing, quite clearly, international law and UN resolutions? But just like it happened with the tax cut debacle and now the benefits issue that have bedeviled her first few days at 10 Downing Street, opposition to this transfer of the embassy has also been strong and actually growing. Let me share a few telling examples with you. Both Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and the most senior cleric in the Church of England, as well as the Roman Catholic counterpart Vincent Nichols, the Archbishop of Westminster, have cautioned against this move. Also, several Jewish groups and the Muslim Council of Britain have also opposed such a move. Moreover, and importantly for me, vocal opposition came a few days ago from the leaders of the 13 church denominations in Jerusalem, representing the indigenous Christian churches, Orthodox, Catholic, Anglican, and Reform, who warned against the move, stating that it would be a further impediment to advancing the already moribund peace process. In its statement, the Council of the Patriarchs and Heads of the Churches said that a British embassy move would, and I quote, severely undermine the key principle of corpus separatum, a separate legal body which relates to Jerusalem's special status as a city holy to Christians, Jews, and Muslims alike. This, by the way, this whole idea of the corpus separatum and the special status for Jerusalem was discussed many times at international fora, including the United Nations, including in 1997 at UNGA. Jerusalem's church leaders further said that the very act of reviewing the placement of the British embassy not only suggests that negotiated agreements regarding Jerusalem and the West Bank have already resolved the ongoing disputes between the involved parties, where in fact you and I know that they have not, but also implies that no such negotiations are needed anymore, that the continuing military occupation of those territories and the unilateral annexation of East Jerusalem are both simply acceptable. But I'm not sure. I mean, despite the strength of this statement from Jerusalem, despite what many religious leaders, what many NGOs have said, I'm not sure that the PM will be necessarily swayed by what they say. Much more significant for her will be the strong intervention by William Hague, a former leader of the Conservative Party. He carries serious political weight, especially when we know that a number of Tory MPs are likely to come out in support of his position. Hague, in a written article, advised the PM not to undertake this step now, but to wait until there is a peace agreement. Wise words, if you ask me. Hague also gained support from former Tory chair Sayyida Warsi, who tweeted that the embassy review was effectively a Trump policy prompted by conservative Friends of Israel and supported by the Board of Deputies. I should also add here a diplomatic dimension, an Arab diplomatic dimension, a pan-Arab one. Not only the Arab League, but also the Arab ambassadors in London, who are strongly urging Liz Truss, and have done so, not to go ahead with an illegal and ill-judged plan to move the British embassy to Jerusalem. Some Arab diplomats have even said that the plan could jeopardize talks on a highly prized free trade between the UK and the Gulf Cooperation Council that is due to be completed sometime this year. The so-called normalizing countries, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, etc., also fear they could be viewed by the Arab and Muslim worlds, the street, in other words, as the precursors of this transfer, of this move by the UK. Now, it doesn't matter what you think of such moves. It doesn't matter whether they are genuine or not, whether they will bear fruit or not, but the optics matter a lot. Now put all this together and ask yourself, why? Why? Is it the bravado? Is it to give the impression that the PM is so powerful that she can do anything? Is it simply ideological? Is it to give Yair Lapid a boost in the Knesset elections? I realize that this is an awkward way of putting it, but why fix it when it ain't broken? Or more accurately, it is broken, but why proceed to smash it further? I personally, tonight, do not have an answer. Perhaps you do. Many people, many NGOs, many charities have written about this, have had webinars on this, and they will continue to do so. But here is my tuppenny worth of advice, and it can't come cheaper. Keep the embassy where it is in Tel Aviv. We have enough problems without adding to them. Take care.